This is the lesson on area of regular shapes. This is one of the last problems that was given on the multiple choice part. And so I was asked to go over it because there was some confusion. So the problem says an office floor is covered with square pieces of carpet. The squares form this pattern below. Each piece of carpet has an area of 1 square yard. Which of these expressions can represent the total area of the carpet? And so one of the things you need to remember when we're doing these is that we talked about arrays, and when we're looking at this problem, I know that I need to cut it in parts to figure out like what these 3 things represent. So these 3 things need to match what you see in the picture. That's one way. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do this. And so the first one, and for time's sake, I got grid paper or graph paper, and I made it the same size, and I started to label it so it wouldn't be such a long video. But when you look at this problem, you need to look at these and you need to see, well, does it represent 4 times 2? Well, when I look at how I can cut this, one of the ways that I can cut it is like this, where it would have 4 times 2. Because you have 1, 2, 3, 4 going this way. And then, you have 2, 1, 2 going this way. Okay? So yes, I have that part. Then I need to look, what else do I see? Well, I see 3 times 5. So here's 1. If I cut it right here, that means I have 3 going this way, 1, 2, 3, and I have 5 going down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I have the 3 times 5, but then that leaves me with this part in the middle. And it needs to be 4 times 8. Well, when I count across, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. But when I count down, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know that this is not my answer. Okay. So when I look at B, again, for time's sake, I already started it. And I have 2 times 9. Well, when I look at this, the biggest part that goes across is 9. And if I were to cut it to be 2, it wouldn't be an array that would fit these. So I look at the other parts and I can see 3 times 9, 1, 2, 3, going up and down here. If I cut it this way and made it these 3 parts, which represent these 3 parts, I have 9 going across. So I have the 3 times 9, and then I have the 1 times 6, because there's 1 here and there's 6 across. So I have that part. But when you look at it, then that means the other part needs to be 2 times 7, because there's 2 going up and there's 7 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I know that I don't have that part. This can't be my answer. So then when I look at C, now I have to have these 3 parts when I cut it. Now this one is kind of weird. It doesn't make sense, but if I were to cut it to try to figure out these, if I cut it here, that means that this needs to be part of something else. So I have the 2 times 5 right here. There's 2 across, 5 down. So I can check that off. And then I have 2 times 5 this way. So 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that part right there would be the 2 times 5. And in order to make the 4 times 6, I would have 4 here and 6 here, but that means that I would be cutting it here. And so this part is not accounted for. Okay. So then this I would have, but I still have extra. So don't let it fool you, because you had the 2 times 5, the 2 times 5, and then you had the 4 times 6, because it still has a missing part. Okay, so that is not my answer. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you guys. We had 2 times 5, and we had 4 times 6 right here, and then we had 2 times 5 right there, but we didn't have anything accounted for these, and so that would not be correct. So that one's not my answer. Then when I look at the last one, I have, if I cut it right here, and I like to look at the corners to figure out where to cut it. Okay, and then if I cut it here where this corner is, and I have 3 parts here, but do they match my equation? So I have 2 going up and 7 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I have that part. Now I have 3 times 9. There's 1, 2, 3, and we knew 9 was across the largest part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have that part, and then 1 times 6. Well, I have 1 and then 6 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have those. So this one is my answer. But I'm going to show you another way that you could have done your problem also. When we looked at this problem, it said that each piece was 1 square yard. Now, we were lucky that this one actually had a grid on it, so we could count them. So if we count them, we would go, we can start up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. Now, the only thing is that on this problem, you may not be able to do it like this on another problem if it doesn't have the grid already on there. So we know that this total is 47 square yards, and I said square yards because that's what our problem says. Now, here's the thing. We know that when we do our multiplication here, we know, and I know I'm blocking the camera, but we know 4 times 2 is 8. We know 4 times 8 is 32. And we know 3 times 5 is 15, okay? So now we would need to add these because you see the addition. We do parentheses and then we do the addition. So then you would add your 32, oops, I wrote the wrong number. You would add 32 and 15 and 8, okay? And when you add that together, you get 55, okay? So that's our square feet, or our square yards here are 47. This one came out to 55, so you know it's not right. When we do the next one, we know 2 times 9 is 18. We know 3 times 9 is 27, and 1 times 6 is 6. Then we would add these together. 18 plus 27 plus 6, okay? And that comes out to 51. And so that's not our answer because we know there's 47 square yards. Then we would do the same thing for this one. 2 times 5 is 10. 4 times 6 is 24. 2 times 5 is 10. And then we would add those. 10 plus 24 plus 10. Okay? And we would get 44. Oops, 44. And this is the one that was missing some. And I'll show you. It was missing some. So it came out to 44. If we would have had something to account for these 3, 44, 45, 46, 47, then it would have been correct. So that's supposed to be 44 there. And then on the last one, you have 2 times 7, 14, 3 times 9, 27, and 1 times 6, 6. Okay, if we add these together, 14 plus 27 plus 6, if I add those together, it comes out to 47, which is your answer. Okay, so there were 2 different ways you could look at this problem. Like I said, not all problems you're going to be able to do it. If the grid paper's not there, you may have to look at, you know, the measurements on the side. But this was 2 ways that you could answer this problem. I hope this helped you understand the problem.